Shalom. Call law Yahweh Shem Shai by Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule and teach well, that taught us this truth, the 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim on the four corners, risking their lives each and every day, each and every week on the highways and the byways. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification, come with another lesson. And this lesson is entitled "Two-Thirds of Our People has a low level mindset." 2/3 of our people have a low level mindset, and this lesson basically is going to be speaking about Jake and Eve. Because Jake and Eve mindset is pretty much like a like a little kid. And the reason why it's messed up is because of Esau. The self-proclaimed so-called white man, that he has pushed all this, pushed his philosophies, his, pseudoscience, his demonic, wicked ways on our people, and messed our people up, and the reason why, and another thing too, our people is messed up, it goes way back, even starting with our forefathers, especially when they got off the boats. It started there, from just, being in captivity, slavery, which we still in captivity today. They just literally just beat us down, beat our forefathers down, and then it just passed on from generation to generation. And that's why our people mindset is low level, They don't understand and know what's important, What's important is these scriptures, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to be able to help you grow, in this truth. Not to stay stagnant, especially not in this world, because if you kind of look at it, in this world, you're not gonna get nowhere, man. You might have a job where you make like $25, $30 an hour, or maybe more, a little more. But it's all set up and systematic to just keep you down, to keep you in the same spot. So that's why our people, have a low level mindset. What our mindset is set on is the kingdom, Matthew 6:33. We seeking, the kingdom, We're not seeking this evil place. Let me get that because I don't want to butcher that. Chapter 6, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and his righteousness, and all things should be added unto. Yeah, and this is what we're doing. We're seeking, righteousness. We're praying and hoping Yahweh Shem Shai come back and destroy this place real soon, because we're tired of this place. And through everything that we go through, the reason why we're dealing with, difficult times and hard times, especially our people, because of the low level mindset that is, we have to deal with grief, especially being around these low level mindset people, these widows, Jake and Eve, they bugged out, And let me go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increased knowledge increased sorrow. Yeah. So for in much wisdom, much grief. Yeah. So when you try to talk to a 2/3 nigga, even when you listen to them, man, that's much grief. The things that, Jake talk about, man, we don't care no more. That's all we look at that. That's all bull crap. They're worrying about, sports and stuff, what came on TV, and like, oh man, did you check out that game? Or even when I go to work, man, all they doing is talking about like sports and stuff like that. That's low level mindset. They ain't thinking about the right things, you know what I'm saying? They thinking about the stupid things that's of this world, you know what I'm saying? You know? And these conversations, man, they can vex you. Man, they can really make you mad, man. But you have to hold your composure and your spirit, you know what I'm saying? You have to stay in the spirit. And that's why I say the world, man, has tremendously, man, messed our people up. And another thing, you know, that messed our people up is Christianity, man, which doesn't make any sense, man. You know, none of it lines up with what the Bible is saying. It's all lies, you know what I'm saying? And that's why our people was basically stuck on stupid, you know. And what it says, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. Yeah, because that's what happens, man. You know what I'm saying? The more you increase knowledge in this truth, you see things different. You know what I'm saying? It's especially dealing with our people. It brings much sorrow because they definitely in a dead state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Ezekiel 37, them dry bones. You know what I'm saying? You know, they still in that type of limelight. You know, and most of our people, you know, most of our people, man, what they do is they do bring up God. They bring up the Most High, but you know, the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a bunch of bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't love the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It's only to benefit their needs. You know what I'm saying? You know, and like I said again, you know, Christianity just did a number on our people. You know, did a number on our people. So, you know, they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, if you look at it too, it's certain scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Like John 3:16. You know, they say for God loves the world. You know, that world is talking about you know, Israel. You know what I'm saying? You know, Isaiah 45 and 17, Slacky. So, you know, but, you know, it's a stumbling block to our people, you know what I'm saying? You know, because like I said again, that Christianity doesn't line up with what the truth is speaking about, you know, and that's, and our people, you know what I'm saying? That's what they love, you know, and when you look at the state that Babylon is in, you know what I'm saying? Our people really keep on with this wickedness, you know, instead of coming back to the Most High, you know, because they realize then you have to sacrifice some things. You have to let some things go. And 2/3 of our people, they ain't gonna let those things go, man. But at the end of the day, man, if they don't, you know, they're gonna be put to death. You know what I'm saying? You know, from the stupid decisions, you know what I'm saying, made in the past and the future, they're gonna be put to death. And they're only gonna wish that they listen to the Akim. You know what I'm saying? Especially the Akim on the four corners of this earth. You know, risking their lives, teaching this truth. You know, trying to wake up the elect in the 1/3 on the highways and byways. These 2/3 is going to refuse to do that. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen is, let me go to Zechariah 13 and 8. They're going to be put to death. You know what I'm saying? Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it should come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, 2 parts therein. And who's those 2 parts? 2 parts is that's Jake and Eve, you know. These niggas, you know, the 2/3, which have that low level mindset, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be put to death. And there should be, and let me read that from the top again. Verse 8, and it should come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, 2 parts therein should be cut off and die, but the third should be left therein. Yeah. So there is gonna be a remnant, you know what I'm saying, the elect in the 1/3. It's gonna go through that straight gate, you know what I'm saying? But 2/3 of our people, you know what I'm saying, there's a life and death situation on hand. And if they don't hearken to this truth, hey, that's you know, that's them, you know what I'm saying? You know. But if the so-called white man tell them something, you know what I'm saying, they listen, you know what I'm saying? You know, but since, you know, the brothers out on the 4 corners of the earth, the Akim, you know, telling them, you know, hey, get yourself together. You know what they're doing is they're shunning it away, you know what I'm saying, waving it off, you know what I'm saying, because why? because our people are stiff-necked, hard-headed, you know. And the Most High already know how our people operate, you know. They're looking for everyone else, like the so-called white man, to save them, but they ain't realizing that we're crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai. You know what I'm saying? To hear our cry and to hear what we're saying, so we can get out of this place, man. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that, you know, this hurting Jake is this truth. You know what I'm saying? It's cutting them to hurt. You know. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 4 and 12, because they know that they need to get themselves together, but they refuse because they want to stay in that low level mindset. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they do, it's a low level mindset they do. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful. Yeah, this word is powerful. You know what I'm saying? You know, it wakes up, you know, whoever, you know, like you said, like the scriptures say, my sheep hear my voice. So, you know, it's only going to wake up those that, you know, hear his voice, you know what I'm saying, and take heed, you know what I'm saying, you know, and sharper than any two-edged sword, you know what I'm saying, because it cuts, you know what I'm saying, down to the marrow, you know what I'm saying, you know, to the joints in the marrow, that it's going to say in a few minutes, piercing even to dividing sunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is discern of the thoughts and intent of the heart. Yeah. So, you know, since and that's what it's doing, you know what I'm saying? It's cutting these niggas up, you know, because what they would rather do is they would rather go to church, they would rather sit down, hear what the pastor say, you know. Oh, you gonna do this for? Oh, you know, God gonna do this for me? Yeah, but just make sure you put that money in that, you know, that plate. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's what they, you know, pretty much all they want to hear is smooth words, you know. But it's gonna be some, it ain't gonna be no more smooth words, you know, that they're gonna hear, because they're gonna hear that, they're gonna see that missile hit them upside their head, the ICBM missile. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But in that day, like I say again, in Zechariah 13 and 8, 2/3 of our people are gonna be put to death. You know what I'm saying? And that's why this word is cutting them. You know what I'm saying? Like it says, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than a two-edged sword. Yeah, because it's cutting them to the heart. You know, and they fail to realize. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it's time to get yourself together now, man. Because if you don't, hey, you're gonna get passed by and you're gonna get left. You know, and that's what most of our people do. They say they love God, but when it comes all down to it, they don't. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Matthew chapter 15 and 8. This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that heart is, you know, mind, you know what I'm saying, is the mind, not the heart that pumps in your heart. The vessel is la'ah. So, you know, in the Hebrew. So it's, you know, it's wicked, you know what I'm saying? You know, but they draw nigh, you know what I'm saying, to, they say, oh yeah, I love the Most High, I love God, you know what I'm saying? But when it all comes down to it, they don't do anything how about Shem outside say do. They ain't want to come back to the true living power, you know what I'm saying? You know, they would rather just, you know, keep on doing their wickedness because they selfish, you know what I'm saying? But who is going to do it? The elect. The elect is going to take heed, you know what I'm saying, to what Yahweh Shem outside said doing, you know. You know, they're going to want to come out of that darkness because we're in the light, you know. But the people that want to stay in darkness is the 2/3. Because why? Because they have a low level mindset. You know what I'm saying? They refuse to hearken, you know. And that's just how they are. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. For the Most High, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, yeah. And that's who is that? That's the elect. You know, he pulled us up out of that darkness. You know what I'm saying? You know, confessing his name, Slakia. You know what I'm saying? Every day. You know, we give him all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shai. And how are we doing that? Because the brothers are on the four corners of the earth, you know, crying out. You know what I'm saying? For us to be saved. You know what I'm saying? That remnant, that elect in 1/3. You know what I'm saying? And to give light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahweh Shai and Mashiach. You know? So, you know, this is the spirit we're supposed to be in right here. You know what I'm saying? If you still following the ways of this world, then you in darkness. You know what I'm saying? You got to put off that old man, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, you're going to perish, you know what I'm saying? And there's all kind of things going on in this world right now, man. You know, being in this world is nothing but darkness, you know what I'm saying? Food prices going up. The housing market has plundered, you know what I'm saying? They trying to, you know, they're trying to hide things, make it seem like the economy is going good, but it ain't. You know, the other day, Special T was on there, yeah, the economy is going good and all this, but he was on there telling a bold face, you know what I'm saying, LIE, you know, and people losing their jobs, you know what I'm saying, on a record scale. You know, it's all kind of, you know, different, you know, elements that's dealing with the weather, you know, bad storms, earthquakes, hurricanes, you know what I'm saying, you know, wildfires, you know, there's all kind of stuff going on, you know what I'm saying, in Babylon, you know what I'm saying, and throughout the whole world, you know. Who is only, that's, you know, that's in this light, that's shining, you know what I'm saying, that's the, the elect, you know what I'm saying, you know, in this dark, gloomy kingdom, you know what I'm saying, which is Babylon the Great, you know, and who is in darkness, you know what I'm saying, 2/3 of our people, because they reject this truth. And we already understand that why they're going to reject this truth. Like I said again, because this truth is killing them, you know. Hebrews 4:12, you know, it's cutting them, you know what I'm saying? Because the reason why they'd rather further in this wickedness, you know what I'm saying? They'd rather stay in darkness instead of in the light. But we have came to the light, you know what I'm saying? And we give all praises, call all Yahweh Shem El Shai, you know, for bringing us out of this light. And we pray in Psalms 51:11 that he keep the spirit on us, you know what I'm saying? So we can keep on pushing this truth, you know what I'm saying? Because that's important. And I'm going to go back to Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 18, and we'll close on out. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. So, you know what I'm saying? So just being in this place, you know what I'm saying, it brings much grief, you know what I'm saying? Especially being, like I said, getting around these 2/3. You know, 2/3 of these niggas that don't understand what is coming to Babylon, let them stay asleep. Let them stay in this darkness. Let them keep on, you know, staying in their folly, you know what I'm saying? You know, and what does it say? And when you increase knowledge, it will vex you, you know what I'm saying, on all levels, you know, because of the things you base this truth on, the world does not operate on it. You know what I'm saying? The world is going to operate on folly. The world is going to operate on the things that they love that's in this world. You know what I'm saying? You know? So we don't care about, you know, this place. You know what I'm saying? So we already know the people that, you know, especially the, like I said again, we already know the 2/3 of our people is on a low level mindset because all they want to see that's what's in front of them. But this is all on faith. So I just want to leave it at that. I hope this was edifying. And you can keep on, you 2/3 niggas being a low level mindset. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to seek the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? We're going to seek Yahweh Shem El Shai. So I want to say Shalom, call Allah, Yahweh Shem El Shai, by Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule and teach well. To the Akim on the four corners, peace and citations. listening to lies each and every week on the highways and the byways, pushing this truth, the 100% truth. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification, this is your brother Die Will Die. Come on, another lesson. Hopefully that was edifying. Shalom.